They can't even afford to heat a tin of soup.
Okay, this is a generation that is completely bereft of decency, of morality. Here's the thing. It is indicative of something broader. When you see extremists who do extreme things, and then they are cheered for it by members of the media, for example, or when you see people who say and do things that are actual evidence of mental disorder, and those things are cheered by the President of the United States, this says something deeper about the nature of our civilization and the value system that is being torn down. And that's what we are watching in real time right now. So we have a few of those flags that are atop the iceberg, that melting iceberg of Western civilization right now. So the first flag that cropped up over the weekend was yet another attack on a great work of art. This time, apparently, Claude Monet has become the latest artist to be the focus of food-related climate protests, according to the UK Guardian. Members of a German environmental group threw mashed potatoes over one of his paintings in a Potsdam museum on Sunday. So we have video of this. It is a painting that is worth apparently $111 million. It's, again, all works of art sit atop a structure of civilization. Right? Those works of art are the outgrowth of the civilization, and so they are hallmarks of that civilization. So you have these German environmental protesters throwing mashed potatoes all over this work of art, and they say, people are starving, people are freezing, people are dying. They glued themselves to the wall. We are in a climate catastrophe. And all you are afraid of is tomato soup or mashed potatoes on a painting. You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid because science tells us, says this German moron, that we won't be able to feed our families in 2050. You're not going to have a family. Does it take mashed potatoes on a painting to make you listen? This painting is not going to be worth anything if we have to fight over food. Well, then first of all, you shouldn't waste your mashed potatoes. But second of all, there are so many questions here. One, where the hell is security? Where's security? Right? People are standing around and these morons walk into the museum with the Monet painting, wearing orange vests and presumably carrying a canister of mashed potatoes. And they just freely do this with a videographer who's taking tape of all this. And of course, this is not the first protest like this. Just 9 days ago, there was an attack on a Van Gogh painting. And again, environmental idiots decided that they were going to glue themselves to the wall below a Van Gogh painting after throwing tomato soup at the Van Gogh painting.
What is worth more, art or life? Is it worth more than food? Worth more than justice? Are you more concerned about the protection of a painting or the protection of our planet and people? The cost of living crisis is part of the cost of oil crisis. Fuel is unaffordable to millions of cold, hungry families. They can't even afford.
Okay, this is a generation that is completely bereft of decency, of morality. They're vestiges of I'm not going to blame the entire generation, but what we have here is a civilization that does not know its way, does not know why it is, what it is. And now you have people who are tearing this down because let's be frank about this. This is not about the environment. No one here believes that by throwing mashed potatoes on a painting, they are going to magically cure climate change or that this is going to win friends and admirers. That all over the world, millions of people are going to say, those heroes who threw mashed potatoes on the Monet, they have now caused me to give up the fact that coal and gas are more efficient than solar and wind. That's not going to happen. And they know that's not going to happen. It's about the destruction. It is not about building anything. It is not about a better world. They're not going to school to learn how to create better tech to cure the climate crisis. They're not figuring out how to geoengineer. They're not doing something productive. They're doing something destructive because the barbarians are about the destruction. They're not about building anything new. They're not about the utopia. Again, many of the people who were destructive in the past were destructive, at least you could say this for them, because they wish to build something better. These people don't wish to build anything better. They just wish to destroy. Because again, the painting is, in fact, there's a reason they're targeting these paintings. And it's not just because they're beloved paintings. It's because they're beloved Western paintings. You don't see them going after expensive objects that are, for example, from colonialized parts of the world. The idea is you have to go after the great works of art of Western civilization because those Western civilization pieces are indicative of a broader evil. We'll get to more on this in just one second. First, does it make sense that the same company that controls half of online retail also monitors like all of your data? Or that a single company controls 90% of internet searches, runs your email service, and tracks everything you do on your smartphone? Big tech is more powerful than most countries are at this point. They profit by exploiting your personal data. It's time to put a layer of protection between your online activity and big tech. That's why I use ExpressVPN. Think about how much of your life is on the internet. Sadly, every site you visit, video you watch, message you send gets tracked and data mined. When you run ExpressVPN on your device, the software hides your IP address, which is something big tech can use to personally identify you. So ExpressVPN makes your activity harder to trace and sell to advertisers. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your internet data to keep you safe from hackers and eavesdroppers on your network. One thing I love about ExpressVPN is super easy to use. So here's what you do. You take out your phone, scroll to the ExpressVPN app. You open it up. Right now it says, I am not connected. And this is very bad. So I hit the button and then bam, I'm connected. And this means I'm now protected from all insidious prying eyes. ExpressVPN does all of this without slowing your connection. That's why it's rated the #1 VPN service by TechRadar, The Verge, and countless others. So stop handing over your personal data to the big tech monopoly that mines your activity and sells your info. Protect yourself instead with the VPN I trust to keep me safe online. Visit expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. Get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show to get started. And then you have members of the media who celebrate this sort of stuff. You have Eileen Getty writing for the UK Guardian saying, I fund climate activism and I applaud the Van Gogh protest. 2 climate activists who threw soup on the protective glass covering of Van Gogh's Sunflowers painting have captured the attention of the world. While some have ridiculed the activists, as a funder of climate activism, I'm proud of the bigger conversation they've started. The bigger conversation. By the way, Getty is the daughter of the Getty family. I'm the daughter of a famous family who built their fortune on fossil fuels, but we now know the extraction and use of fossil fuels is killing life on our planet. Our family sold that company 4 decades ago. I instead vowed to use my resources to take every means to protect life on Earth. I proudly provide funding to the Climate Energy Fund, which in turn makes grants to climate activists engaged in nonviolent legal civil disobedience, including Just Stop Oil, the group the activists represented. So you now have, this is, again, indicative of deeper ills. The scions of companies that were built and created massive wealth and prosperity on planet Earth. Now, their 4th generation great-great-great-grandkids, those kids are now funding people to throw mashed potatoes and tomato soup on iconic works of art. And this is the thing that they are pushing. It is all about the destruction. And here's the thing, we're supposed to celebrate the destruction. And this is true in literally every arena of life. The destruction is the point. The destruction is not a byproduct. It's not an accidental byproduct of you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. They don't care about the omelet. What they care about is the breaking of the eggs. The eggs must be broken. The goal is the destruction. This is true when it comes to any piece of important Western work. This is true particularly with regard to really, really important things, not just like great art, but also with regard to, for example, sex roles. And the notion that there are men and there are women and that there is such a thing as traditional moral sexual behavior. These are seen as things that, these are the building blocks of civilization. All of civilization is built on man, woman, child, family formed unit. This unit as the basis of all society. And this is not just a Western thing. This is true all over the world. But the left in the West has decided that those structures are incredibly restrictive. And so those structures have to be destroyed from within. And they celebrate the destruction. And our entire society has learned to celebrate the destruction. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing now. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to be getting into Joe Biden and whether he, in fact, will be the 2024 nominee. It looks as though he is imploding on the launch pad. If you're not a member, click the link in the description and join us.